Welcome back. Well, remember last week we read a story by Nikki Grimes with her creative retelling of the story of the creation of the earth from Genesis 1 and part of Genesis 2. And you remember in there that the Word of God, Jesus, said something to the man and woman near the end of the book. So the sun motioned toward the mighty waters now crashing against the cliffs, and toward the birds of the air and the creatures of the land and sea, and he gave all those treasures to Adam and Eve and to all the human beings who would be born after them. Take good care of these treasures for me, he said. Well, yes, and we've read all kinds of books about how we can take care of the earth and how different people have done interesting things, right? Well, apparently it's not only people who take care of the earth. And today I have a book about a very lowly creature. And a famous scientist called Charles Darwin back in 1883 said, "It may be doubted whether there are many other animals which have played so important a part in the history of the world as have these lowly organized creatures." So, what is this lowly creature? And what does it do? Well, let's read and find out. Carl and the Meaning of Life. A book by Deborah Friedman. Once upon a time, Deborah Friedman was an architect, but now she loves to build worlds in books. When she isn't making picture books or daydreaming, she likes to plant things and watch them grow, and to wander through museums, libraries, and the woods near her colorful home in Connecticut. Carl was not a bird. Carl was not a bear or a beaver. Carl was an earthworm. He lived underground, moving, always moving, burrowing, tunneling, digesting dead leaves, feasting and casting, turning hard dirt into fluffy soil day after day. "Why?" asked a field mouse gathering seeds. "Why do you do that?" Why? Carl did not know why, but now he needed to find out. So Carl stopped making fluffy soil. "I'll be right back," he told the field mouse. He spotted a rabbit. Maybe she knew. "Why do I do what I do?" he asked her. "Oh, goodness dear," she said. "I do not know. I do what I do for my babies." But Carl did not have babies. A fox appeared. Carl turned to the fox. "Why do I do what I do?" asked Carl. "Who do I do it for?" "For whom?" replied the fox. "Alas, my meal awaits. I am here for the hunt." But Carl did not want to hunt. "Why are you talking to a fox?" cried a squirrel. Carl was startled. "Because a field mouse is waiting and wants to know what I am here for," the squirrel declared. "I'm here to plant trees. Trees are where I sleep." But Carl could not sleep, not high in a tree, and not without an answer for the mouse. He pushed on and on. Hours turned into days until the soil was no longer fluffy. The ground around Carl turned barren and dry, while he continued to search. But the birds had flown off to find grasses and fluff. The bear trundled away to look for berries. Soon there was nobody left to talk to. "What about me?" called Carl. The clouds were silent. So was the air. "I will never find out," he sniffled. Then Carl heard his sniffle echo, followed by a squeak. "I can't find any grubs," a voice cried. It was the saddest ground beetle he had ever seen. Carl peeked under a stone. No grubs. Then he poked at the dirt. It was hard, like rock. Where was his fluffy soil? Suddenly, Carl knew what he needed to do. "I'll be back," he promised. For hours, into days, weeks into months, Carl munched, digested, left castings, and tunneled, and turned that hard dirt back into rich soil. "You made my seeds grow," said the mouse. Clover blossomed once again, and the rabbit came back with her kits. The squirrel returned to plant new trees. The fox was lured by the hunt. All of them able to do what they do. How? Well, why not ask Carl? The end. Well, just like Carl, every creature in this book has an important job. The mouse, rabbit, squirrel, fox, and ground beetle all need each other, and our world needs them. Everything is connected, including you. How do you help the earth? So, God made such a beautiful world, right? And He gave it to us, and I guess to all creatures, to take care of it. Because He thinks this is a beautiful place He gave us, and He'd like us to keep it that way. See you next week, and we'll have another story. Bye-bye.